Hey, how's it going? Hope your week is treating you right. Having a good day. Breaking out the classical this time. This I had made maybe 20 years ago. It's a 2005, so over 20 years. 21 years old. Crazy. Yeah, it's Bruce Wood, guy, surfer guy in California, making guitars. I was a little skeptical at first because I was like, I got to drop a whole bunch of money. But, in terms of classical guitars, it wasn't that much money. I picked out my own wood, and he made it to my specs, and it was awesome. Because I was looking at like nice classical guitars at the time, were like 10K. And I was like, back then, 10K for an acoustic guitar? No way. Just out of college, pretty much. Or, yeah, a few years out of college. Ain't happening. So, yeah, this thing has been sweet and sounds amazing. Still plays great. It's gonna last forever. With this classical guitar, what I did for the G string is I have a composite G string from the Diodario composite strings, and I really like that pop because it's I was into flamenco at the time, learning a little bit. I can't play flamenco to save my life, but I can play a little bit. Man, I haven't played it in a long time. But so I needed something, some strings that gave me a little bit more power, and this composite G string really pops out. And I just left it on there, and it's great I just love the presence it gives to the guitar. Just barely have to touch the guitar to get it to sing. Yeah, it's great. Anyways, that piece that I played in the beginning was from Leo Brouwer. So I started with like shredding guitar when I was like 16, way into that, and then later on I had somebody told me you got to learn classical guitar if you want to get into a music school, because my whole thing was I was way into music, way into guitar, and I didn't know what else to do with my life. I wasn't really fantastic at school, but I was good at this. So this was kind of my one and only thing I wanted to do. So I was like, well, all right. I was living in Chicago at the time and tried to learn some classical guitar over span of 4 years, and got pretty good at it. And it was a classical college in Chicago. I forget which one it was. I didn't necessarily want to study classical guitar necessarily because I was way into, I was into metal, flamenco, so much different kinds of music, so many different kinds of music. But, if they took me in, I probably would have gone there. But I made the audition in terms of playing wise, but my grades didn't make it. So, like, okay. And then I hit up Berklee College of Music. I think it was, I forget the timeline, but it was maybe a year later. And I managed to get in. I guess they took people with a little bit. This music college in Chicago was, you had to be like really good grades. You had to get really good grades in school and be a really good musician. So that wasn't you know, it had to be like straight A's, you know, almost. But Berkeley, with my B's and occasional C, took me in. And this is not an advertisement for Berkeley, but just letting you know kind of where my classical guitar came from. I actually didn't study classical guitar at all in Berkeley. I just, yeah, I left it alone for a while. And fingerstyle, I left alone. I went back to kind of shredding. And then got tired of doing that and went back to acoustic guitar. Barely play electric guitar these days. There's just something so personal about guitar. Pretty great. Yeah. Classical. I gotta pick this thing up more often. Also, this sounds amazing. What is it again? Botched that one. I love this part. Then we go. And I also like cool. So many cool licks in this song. And on a classical guitar, just sounds amazing. I think they played it on a steel string, but I think it sounds better on classical guitar. If you don't have a classical, I would highly recommend picking one up. They're pretty fantastic. And working on your right hand technique. The classical guitar makes it a little easier to work on your right hand technique because you have a little bit more space between the strings, a little bit more forgiving. It's a wider neck, but if you're not used to a classical, if you've never played a classical before, the wider neck is nice because you don't need to have your fingertips like way up there. On steel strings, the strings are much closer, and so you need to really get those fingertips up there. But with classical, again, it's a little bit more forgiving. And yeah, man, in summer, you know, play it outside, campfire, fantastic. Well, I hope you have a good day. Stay cool. I know it's hot everywhere. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Happy picking.